Just because you're dead, it doesn't mean we can't still be friends. This show is all about ghosts. Now here's your ghostly host, Brenda Carey.
Good evening, and welcome to another episode of the Brenda Carey Show. Tonight's episode is all about ghosts. I thought I saw a ghost one night, but as I learned the hard way, it turns out that if you see a gigantic, hairy Marilyn Monroe stumbling down the street in the middle of the night in Hollywood, it's probably not a ghost. But ghosts can be fun. In fact, I even hear that some of them might want to have sex with you. That could be interesting. Is that cheating? I think it's okay if the person you're hooking up with is invisible, as long as you're quiet about it. Nobody wants to overhear you having ghost sex. Whoa, 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 whoa. Anyway, stay tuned for some really good ghost stories, and go with me and my best friend, the beautiful Megan Tomsack, on a real ghost hunt in one of the most haunted spots in all of Southern California. You won't believe what we found. The very best ghost stories I've ever heard were told to me by my good friend Ronnie North, who just happens to be one of the best guitarists in the world, and my boyfriend Brian Acree. I called them together along with a paranormal expert to keep them honest, to share their stories with you. So let's start off first with Ronnie's story. Ronnie North, will you please tell us your wonderful ghost story?
Yeah, this is really wacky since I really don't believe in ghosts. One night I was asleep and I got awakened by, I don't know what, something just woke me up. I look and there's my dead grandma talking to me in Spanish, and she glows in the dark and she's green. So, yeah, kind of bizarre, but yeah, I wish I could have spoke Spanish because it sounded like she was trying to tell me something. So, kind of a little bizarre, but I couldn't understand a word at all, but I could see through her. She was green.
So your grandmother was speaking to you in Spanish.
Yes.
Trying to tell you something.
Yes.
And you just said, I don't know.
I'm like, okay, it's time to go to work. I'm out of here, man. I don't know if you've kind of been serious in tone, but, you know, I guess I'll never know. So, whatever.
What do you think about that, Junior? Wow,
yeah, Junior,
that's
what's
pretty
your thoughts
crazy.
on that? What's the donkey commentary on that?
We can speculate about what she was probably trying to tell you. You know, I'm sure it was something important.
It might have been important, but it's been about 15 years or so far so good. What up, Grandma?
Okay.
Shout out to the ghost world.
So let's just go on over to Bart right now, our paranormal expert. And let's ask Bart, what do you think about this? You say you have a theory about when ghosts come and speak in another language.
Well, in general, it is widely believed that once spirits cross over, that they can communicate universally in the language spoken of the person they're trying to communicate with, in addition to native language.
Yeah, I'm the only one in my family who doesn't speak Spanish. I'm sure anybody in my family could. Even the cat could have probably translated it. I don't speak Spanish. And I am 100% Spanish.
And I'm, of course, pouring our tea, which I forgot to pour in the beginning, because you can't have a good discussion about anything without a cup of tea. But anyway, back to this whole thing. Your grandmother could have spoken to you in English, but she chose to speak to you in Spanish.
Yeah,
and I think she's shaming you for not learning Spanish.
You know what? You very might. They always try to get me. I think you might be right.
Ghost,
Tough love. Tough
right.
Ghost love.
Okay, so this is how I picture this going down. Hola, Ronnie. Su abuela está aquí.
Seriously?
Hay una casilla enterrados bajo este piso con millones de dólares dentro. Millones de dólares, Ronnie.
Okay, Grandma. You know I don't speak Spanish.
No puedo creer. Mi nieto no habla español.
Really?
Ridículo.
Okay, you're floating over my bed.
Usted puede ser ricos, pero usted no aprender español.
Still not understanding you.
Tan triste. ¿Y usted duerme con su guitarra? No es de extrañar, no tengo ninguna bisnietos.
But, you know, nice seeing you, I guess. Yeah.
Me voy volver a cielo, donde
So I was saying,
todo
Grandma.
habla español. Picasso es pintura me desnudos más tarde.
I'll be seeing you soon. Good times.
Okay, well, Brian, let's talk about your ghost story. You have a couple good ones, but let's talk about your, since we're in front of a fire here outside, let's talk about your camping one.
Okay, yeah, so sort of pulled over and decided to hike up this mountain that we saw. So we've climbed all the way up to the top of this cliff, and my friend goes and finds a rock, and he sets up his sleeping bag and goes to sleep. And it's just like, it's way too cold and windy for me to sleep. So I end up spending the entire night just sitting around this little campfire I built, looking off this cliff, and I'm just sort of feeding logs into my little campfire. So I decided to go get some more wood. And as I'm coming back, I see this guy leaning over my fire, messing around with my stuff. And I thought it was my friend. I thought he woken up and like come see where I was, and saw I walked away from my campfire, and I smoked at the time, so I figured he was grabbing my cigarettes to throw them away or something like that. And so I snuck up behind him, and I got about 10, 15 feet from him. And I said, "Hey, drop my stuff!" And this guy whips around, and it's this Indian. And he's looking at me just totally petrified. Whoa. And we just sit there and stare at each other for just a few seconds. And he takes 4 or 5 steps and runs and jumps off the cliff face. Just full on run, just jumps off the cliff face. And I see him go out and just start to drop and just totally freaked out. So I run up to the side of the cliff and I look and I don't hear anything. It's just gone. Whoa. And so I sit there for a second and I'm like, all right, it's late. Maybe I just freaked out and had this really bizarre hallucination. And so I go back to my campfire, and my cigarettes and my little stack of wood are gone. The only thing left is my lighter. It was a straight down cliff face. I mean, there was I could look down from the top and see all the way to the bottom.
Is he just a kleptomaniac ghost? I mean,
I think he was sneaking into my campsite to steal my stuff.
That's weird. They could take stuff into the other.
It's called counting coup.
Right.
Counting coup?
The Native Americans used to do this. They used to sneak into their enemy's camp and steal something.
Yeah, but when they were a ghost?
Well,
I get it when you're real. Yeah, okay, got it.
But it was, it was
they
like
call
a
them shoplifters now.
It was like a. Yeah.
And so do ghosts still do things in the afterlife, the same sorts of things that they would have done when they were alive, such as counting?
They could. Something could have happened there. Whether the guy just committed suicide and jumped, whether he was being chased.
I hadn't thought about that.
Sounds like the attire was quite old, so we may be talking 100 years or more even.
This is a good time for you to tell your ghost story about when you were young. And you saw a dark presence.
So I was upstairs in my room, and I was just playing up there. And I remember it got really cold in the room, and then something just happened with the light in the room. It kind of from the floor, all these shadows started getting cast up the walls, and it just I could see shadows sort of growing up the wall from my shelves and stuff like that. And
that's cool.
It really freaked me out. So I ran out of my room. So I start going down the stairs, and I kind of look back, and now I see this figure walking around in my room. And so I run down to the bottom of the stairs, and as I get down to the last couple of steps, it gets really, really hard to move. And I get down to the very bottom step, and I can't move. And I look up, and I see this shadowy figure come out of my room and start walking to the head of the stairs. And I sort of just drop down to the ground and kind of use my hands to just sort of pull myself. And as I kind of got away from the base of the stairs, I started being able to move again. So I got up and I ran into the kitchen. A couple of weeks later, though, I came out of my room. You could see into my parents' bedroom out onto the deck. And there was just this head just floating right above the deck.
Wow.
And it was this guy with long hair, and he looked right at me. So I ran downstairs to get my dad, and I said, I saw some guy trying to climb up on our deck, and we went up. And, none of the snow had been disturbed, so there's no footprints, no handprints, no nothing.
That's awesome.
Do you feel like that one was related to the other one?
Actually, I don't. It didn't seem like it was the same thing.
Okay, so what do you think, Bart?
Well, I mean, there could be a number of different things. The first thing that I would think right off the bat is history of the home. Were there any deaths in the home? How old was the home?
Actually, it had been there was a Civil War battlefield right where they built that housing complex.
Well, that could answer quite a few questions. Could have been a soldier maybe that lost his head during the Civil War.
Could have been. Very interesting. stay tuned. Next segment, we'll be going on a ghost hunt. Thanks, everybody. Hi, everybody. I'm here with my best friend, Megan. Yay! And we're going to go on a ghost hunt tonight here in San Juan Capistrano. This is one of the most haunted locations in all of Southern California.
We're going to find some ghosts tonight.
And we set off on our ghost hunt.
Digital cameras are one of the best pieces of equipment you can have for ghost hunting. You can catch orbs, or if you're lucky, you can capture an apparition. Much to my surprise, I did capture orbs. Were these spirits trying to contact us? Here's an example of why you don't see very many celebrity ghost hunters. The paparazzi are always getting in the way.
I just took a picture and there was an orb in it. And so you were saying that nobody's been there for a while, so you think that we might have caught something?
At least a couple hours, it's safe to rule out that it's any kind of dust anomaly.
With those kind of energy readings, we decided we needed to investigate further. Why would there be ghosts in here? What happened in here?
The jail was in here, so back in the day, they used to put the bad boys in here.
I feel like I'm being squished. It's the weirdest thing in the world. Like, I can't even explain it. I'm like,
Okay, well, don't get squished.
I won't. I'm gonna go over here.
Who was squeezing Megan's head? Was it her? I'll admit I was feeling a little strange myself, as if someone was writing my name on the wall. Something in that jail cell even went after this guy's camera.
And I just stayed there, and I just gave it its space, and the light, it didn't get brighter in front of me, it got brighter on the camera.
Thank goodness he's okay to lead us to our next destination.
Cross the railroad tracks.
Our last stop, our final destination, at the end of our road, the cemetery. Surely there were spirits here who'd like to communicate with us on my homemade Ouija board. Oh. You saying you see us? By this point, our crew is capturing orbs all around us. Were they friendly spirits trying to communicate with us? E? Smile?
Whoa, because something's just pushing me while I'm filming you guys. There's something right behind me, right? It's on her shoulder, on her jacket.
1495. Wow. So are you a Spanish person? You're from Spain? No? Are you a Native American? Can we apologize to you for what the white people did? Who hasn't wanted to apologize to the Native Americans for what us white people did years ago?
See that?
What?
There was a fog that came right in front of her face and went right up to the camera. There's a fog. There was a fog. It was like a mist.
Wow.
Cool.
And just like that, our Native American friend turned into a mist before our crew's eyes and left us. Had to go.
Wow.
That's pretty cool.
It was right in front of your face.
That's cool.